I was pretty sure my wife was hiding something from me, but reality was so much worse. My suspicions began when Steph started spending an unusual amount of time on her phone. She's never been particularly attached to technology, so it seemed odd when her phone became almost a permanent fixture in her hand. She would smile every time it buzzed, giggle after reading messages, and respond with the kind of excitement that reminded me of how she used to look at me years ago when we first started dating. While I was sure something was off, I needed proof to confirm my suspicions. One day, I quietly approached her while she was engrossed in her phone, hoping to get a glimpse of her chat. But what I saw was not what I expected. It was far more shocking. Her phone buzzed, and an image came through. I was bracing myself for something like a romantic photo, but instead, it was a gruesome image of a person. The man in the photo appeared hurt, as if he had been caught in a terrible accident. His limbs were placed around the concrete floor, and the image was eerie and unsettling. I felt my heart sink. Steph smiled at the image and began typing a message. "Clever. I love how you handled the details this time," she sent, followed by a playful biting of her thumb, clearly waiting eagerly for a reply. Soon after, the screen lit up again. "I saved something special for you." The response came back, full of flirtatious undertones. Steph beamed and typed back with excitement. "You mean it? When can I come by?" she replied, thrilled. My pulse was racing. Steph then turned around, spotting me. She immediately clutched her phone to her chest, eyes wide with surprise. "What are you doing?" She snapped, irritation clear in her voice. My mind was swirling with questions, but I couldn't get a word out. Steph, however, unleashed her frustration. "How dare you invade my privacy?" she shouted. "You have no respect." I just stood there, frozen, not knowing what to say or do. Steph stormed off into our bedroom, slamming the door behind her. I sank into the couch, trying to process what I had just witnessed. The hours dragged on, and night eventually fell. Steph stayed locked in the bedroom, and I was left with my thoughts. Should I call the police? Should I leave? I had no idea what to do. I needed answers, and to get them, I had to confront the situation head-on. Later that night, I quietly entered the bedroom. Steph was fast asleep under the covers, and her phone lay on the nightstand. With trembling hands, I picked it up. Her message history popped up, and the strange images were there again, sent by someone using a single demon face emoji as their name. But what caught my attention was that the messages seemed to be coming from her own phone number. My blood turned cold. I stared at the screen, confused. I tried sending a message from her phone, hoping for more clarity. "Who is this?" I typed, hitting send. Almost instantly, a reply came back. "Who are you?" It read, almost mocking me. I was taken aback, but what alarmed me the most was that Steph had been messaging herself. Just then, the familiar 3 dots appeared, indicating another message was being typed. "Are you scared?" The next message read. A chill ran down my spine. Suddenly, Steph's body began shifting under the covers. I jumped, startled by the movement. "Steph!" I called out hesitantly. No response, just more frantic tossing and turning. I slowly pulled the blanket back, only to find not my wife, but the man from the unsettling images. Lying there, his eyes looked at me, and though his body was not whole, there was an eerie calmness about him. "What is this?" I whispered, utterly confused. Then, a strange laugh echoed from under the bed, unnatural, almost sinister. Without warning, a hand reached out from the shadows beneath the bed and grabbed my ankle. The hand bore a familiar wedding ring, Steph's ring. Her head emerged slowly from the darkness, her eyes meeting mine with a cold, unrecognizable expression. "I told you to stay out of it," she hissed, her voice low and tense. My heart pounded in my chest as I tried to make sense of what was happening. "Steph, what's going on?" I pleaded, desperate for some explanation. She didn't answer my question. Instead, she spoke in a detached, chilling voice. "He's coming for you." "Who's coming?" I stammered, but she only smiled. A cold, knowing smile. I turned my attention back to the bed, where the injured man now pointed toward the door. The floor creaked, and standing in the doorway was a towering goat-like figure. Its legs were covered in coarse fur, and its eyes gleamed with a strange dark energy. It was the same face I had seen in the demon emoji on Steph's phone. My heart raced, panic setting in. Steph crawled toward the figure, wrapping herself around its leg like it was something she adored. The creature looked at me, its grin widening. He'll be back for you. Steph translated, her voice eerie and detached. The creature let out a low chuckle before disappearing into the hallway, with Steph following closely behind, leaving me trembling in the darkness. As the shock began to wear off, tears welled up in my eyes. I felt an overwhelming sense of loss, but I wasn't sure if it was for Steph or something else. The fragmented man on the bed twitched for a moment before going still. I cautiously approached, realizing that whatever he had been through, it was finally over. The next morning, I walked through the house, looking for Steph, but it was like she had never existed. Her belongings were gone. Even her pictures had vanished from the frames on the walls. Yet the unsettling presence of the strange events from the night before lingered, as if it had all been a bad dream. But then, a message lit up my phone. "I'll be there soon," it read. Now every creak in the floor makes my heart race. I know something is coming for me, and I'm terrified. I don't know what to do. If you enjoyed this story and want to read more chilling tales, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more terrifying adventures.